A very warm welcome to my dear students of class 11 science. Welcome once again to biology class. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is chapter number 4, Animal Kingdom. In our previous classes we have learnt about the 5 kingdom classification which was proposed by R.S. Whittaker. We have learnt about the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, fungi, plantae, and kingdom Animalia. But we have just gone briefly to the kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Okay, so after this chapter, Animal Kingdom, we'll begin with the kingdom Plantae. Alright, so today we'll start with the chapter Kingdom Animal. So kingdom animal means it includes all the animal, may it be aquatic in nature or terrestrial in nature, okay, or may it be let's say amphibious in nature. So all those particular group of organisms which belong to different modes of habitats, all right, so they usually comes under the kingdom Animalia. So actually, what are animals? How to define the animals? So in general, animals can be defined as a multicellular organism. Multicellular means they are made up of more than one cell, okay, and they used to ingest the plant or the animal or the part of the plants. Okay, why? In order to obtain the energy to carry out different physiological functions. Because in order to carry out different physiological functions, we require energy. So therefore, animals used to obtain those energy by ingesting the plants or by feeding on the animals' other parts. And when we look at the general habitat, the structure and the behavior within the animals, we see a great diversity. Okay, so there is a great diversity in terms of their behavior, in terms of their habitat and structure also. Okay, so these are the few differences which we will see among the animals. In spite of the differences within the animal also, okay, whatever the differences are there in terms of their feeding habitat, in terms of their habit, in terms of the structure, behavior, there are certain features which they will share in common. Okay, so there are certain characters which are similar among them. So what are those characters actually which are similar among the animals? So that we are going to learn under the fundamental characteristics of animal. Okay, so what are those characters which they generally share in common? So all the animals are heterotrophs and they are mostly holozoic. Heterotrophs means animals are dependent directly or indirectly on plants. They don't have chlorophyll like that of the plants. Okay, so they are not able to prepare their own food particle. So they are totally dependent on the plants and other other animals like herbivore, we can say. Okay, so those animals which are totally dependent on the plants directly or indirectly for the source of food are mainly known as the heterotrophs. So we are heterotrophs. Okay, and we have got holozoic mode of nutrition. That means we used to ingest the food particles, may it be plant or the animal other part. We are ingesting those food particles. So we have got holozoic mode of nutrition, and mainly we used to ingest the solid or liquid food particle. Okay, next character, we can say that most animals, they used to move in sorts of food from one place to another place. Okay, that means they show locomotion. They can move from one place to another place. But we have got exception here also, because you have heard about the phylum Porifera. Under the phylum Porifera, you have heard about the term called sponge, S-P-O-N-G, sponge. And there are a few coelenterate which come under the coelenterata. They are sedentary. They cannot move from one place to another place. They are confined to the fixed position, to the substratum. Okay, they are attached to the substratum, so they are not able to move from one place to another place. So the food particle they usually used to ingest from the incoming water current. Okay, so most probably all the animals used to move from one place to another place in search of food, but these sponges and coelenterate, they are sedentary. They cannot move from one place to another place. Next one, animal possess sensory and nervous systems, and by the help of the systems, all the animals, they are able to receive the stimulus and they are able to show the response to the stimulus. In class 10 you have learnt about the nervous systems, right? So we are able to respond to our changing environmental conditions. We are able to respond to the stimulus. Okay, we are able to receive the stimulus, and by receiving the stimulus we are able to respond to the stimulus. So these are the common features which the animal shares between them, in spite of the differences in terms of their habit, habitat, structure, and behavior. Okay, now we'll go through the basis of classification. Okay, on what basis the animals have been classified into different phylum. Alright, so first of all, we have got level of organization, with the first basis on which the animals will be classified into a different phylum. So that is level of organization. Here we'll learn about cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and organ system level. Then we have got body plan. Next basis is body symmetry, where we learn about asymmetrical animal, symmetrical animal. Okay, we have to go through each and every basis of classification in detail. Then we have got diploblastic and triploblastic organization. The next basis is the presence of body cavity or the coelom. Next one is segmentation, okay, presence of segment in the body. The next one is presence of notochord or absence of notochord. We'll see in the phylum chordata. Okay, we'll talk about notochord at that particular phylum. Then we have got circulatory system. Okay, it may be open or it may be closed. You have learned in class 10 what does open and closed circulatory system means. The next one is reproduction, which may be asexual or sexual. Okay, then you also learned about whether they are viviparous or whether they are oviparous. Then we talk about the body temperature, whether they are cold-blooded or whether they are warm-blooded. So here we have got the different bases on which the animals have been classified into different phylum. Okay, so each basis of classifications we have to learn in detail. All right, so let us begin with the first basis of classification, that is level of organization. Clear? So let's talk about level of organization. So before this one, remember that each and every organism, may it be unicellular or multicellular, they are made up of cells, and all the functions in the body which generally takes place within our body is carried out by the cells. But the difference is that you have learned in class 9 that cells, when they have to perform the same function, then the group of cells will form a tissue. Then the group of tissues having the same function, they will form the organ, and the organ will form the system, also called the organ system level. So that thing you have to remember. So when we are going through level of organization, you have to remember that it's cellular level, the tissue level, the organ level, and the organ system level. Okay, so let's check it out. The level of organization. The first one is our cellular level or cellular grade of organization. Okay, so all the animals, they will show this level of organization. So first level, the cellular level, is mainly seen in sponges, and sponges, they belong to which phylum? The sponges belong to the phylum Porifera. Okay, although the sponges are multicellular, okay, but in case of sponges, the cells will not combine with each other, or the cells will not form a tissue. So all the functions will be carried out by a cell. Clear? Although they are multicellular, the cells are loosely held together and they will function independently. That's why in sponges, though they are multicellular, we are observing cellular level of organization. The next one comes our tissue level of organization or tissue grade of organization. Okay, so here this tissue level is mainly seen in case of Coelenterata, and remember Hydra. Okay, Hydra is mainly regarded as the first animal that shows the division of labor. A division of labor means where the work has been differentiated or work has been divided among the cells. Let's say we have got 10 cells. So for example, we have got 10 cells. Out of 10 cells, 5 will perform the function of respiration, 5 are performing the function of excretion. So those 5 cells will form a tissue and they will perform the function of respiration. Another 5 cells, they will form a tissue and will perform the function of excretion. So this is called tissue level of organization, or we can say division of labor. So Hydra can be regarded as the first animal where we can see this division of labor and also the tissue level of organization. Okay, so here the cells are specialized and morphologically they have been diversified to perform different functions, and they have been arranged in 2 embryonic layers. That 2 layers we will talk afterwards. What are the embryonic layers? Okay, then next one we have got organ system level of organization, which is mainly shown by the members of the phylum Platyhelminthes and in the higher phylum. Okay, so in these animals, the tissues have been grouped to form the organ. and each organ has been specialized to form a particular functions. And in animals like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, echinodermata, chordates, we will find organ system level of organization, and each functional system is associated with a specific physiological function. So each system has got a particular function to perform. That's why it is called organ system level of organization. So we have got first cellular level, then second we have got tissue level, third we have got organ level, and fourth we have got organ system level of organization. Okay, now when we are talking about this organ system level also, this organ system also have got various patterns of complexity. For example, like in case of platyhelminthes, when we are talking about the digestive system, okay, in platyhelminthes they have got incomplete digestive system. That means they have got only single opening. Single opening means from that particular opening there will be intake of food and the excretion or the removal of food. So that's why it's called incomplete digestive system. But in case of higher forms, okay, in case of higher forms, even like human beings, we have got two opening. We have got mouth and the anus. Mouth for the ingestion of food particle and anus for the removal of waste products. So we have got complete digestive system. So this organ system level has also got different patterns of complexity, but do remember the different levels of organization. Okay, next basis is our body plan. Okay, under the body plan we have to go through, first one is called the cell aggregate plan, which is seen in the simplest multicellular form, that is sponges in the phylum Porifera. Okay, you can look in the figure number 4.1a, the cell aggregate plan in Porifera, mainly in sponges. Okay, so the sponges, their body is essentially an aggregate of cells. Though they are multicellular, we have learned that their particular cells are independent and they will function independently. So their body is essentially an aggregate of cells with aggregate cells, you can say, and certain cells are differentiated to perform specific functions, but cell will not form a tissue. Clear? So cells, they will function independently, so they are not organized to form a tissue, so they will perform a specialized function, but they are not forming the tissue like in tissue level of organization. Okay, and there is also no nervous connection between the cells. Okay, so in case sponges, we are like we are seeing, we are observing the cell aggregate plan. The next one is our blind sac plan, which is seen mainly in case of coelenterate and the flatworms. The blind sac plan, figure number B. Okay, in this animal the body is sac-like. You can look in the figure also, figure number B. It's just a sac-like structure, okay, with a single central cavity. A cavity is there. If you look at the diagram, okay, if you look in the diagram, you can see the presence of over here. Okay, you can see the presence of a single cavity. This one is a cavity. So in the central, we will see the presence of cavity, and this particular cavity in the central is function as the digestive tract. Okay, then it opens to the outside by only one aperture. If you look at the diagram, you can see over here there's only one single opening. Okay, and that's mainly the mouth. There is no other opening, there's only single opening. So this particular central cavity, it acts as the digestive tract and it opens to the outside through a single aperture or the opening, that is the mouth. Okay, there is no other opening. Clear? So this single opening, it has got both the function. It has to function both as the mouth and as well as the anus. Okay, so in these animals, the cell exhibit division of labor. That means the cell has been specialized to form to perform a particular functions, and here we can see that the cell will form a group to form a tissues. Okay, they form the additional tissues over there. Then next one we can see the tube within tube plant, which is found in all other animal group. All right, in this particular tube within tube plant, which is in the other animal group, the body cavity is the first tube. Okay, the body cavity, if you can see over here, the body cavity. Okay, the body cavity, this particular tube, it is the first tube, and it just like the digestive tube or the alimentary canal. Okay, so it lies in the digestive canal. If you look over there, over here you have got the digestive canal. Okay, so his body cavity is nearby the digestive canal, and it has got the opening at its end. We have got the mouth and we have got the anal also. So we have got two openings in case of tube within tube plant, one which will function as the mouth and the other one which will function as the anus. So from the mouth we are taking the food particles, okay, and by the help of the anus the waste materials will be thrown out. So these are the three body plants which are mainly seen in different animals. First one is cell aggregate plant, seen in sponges. Second one is blind sac plant, which is mainly seen in coelenterate, and the other flatworms, where we have got the central body cavity, okay, and it will open to the outside through a single aperture which will function as both mouth and the anus. Clear? Then third one, we have moved to the tube within tube plant. We have got the body cavity that lies close to the digestive canals, and here we have seen that we have got two openings, the mouth and the anus. Okay, so we have finished the body plan also. Now next, let us go to the next basis of classification, that is body symmetry. Okay, so what does symmetry means? What is body symmetry? So the arrangement of similar body parts on the two sides of main axis of the body of an organism is called symmetry. For example, human being. If you look at our body, okay, and suppose this is our half, first half, second half, then there will be arrangement of similar body part on the two sides. This is the first side and this is the second side. So on both these sides we have got the arrangement of similar body parts. So this is the main axis, okay, so this is the first part, this is the second part. So on both the sides, on both the parts, we have got the similar body parts. Okay, so this is mainly called symmetry, because there are certain animals, when we cut those animals into two equal parts, all right, animals can be divided into two equal parts with the similar body parts, or they cannot be divided into two equal half or the two equal parts. So that we are going to learn. Okay, so remember, symmetry means the arrangement of similar body parts on the two sides of main axis of the body of an organism, simply human being. Thus we will try to cut it out from the main axis, so we can divide ourselves into two equal half, okay, with equal amount of body parts, and that is called symmetry. All right, and on the basis of symmetry, animals are broadly classified into two types. And what are they? We have got asymmetrical animals and the symmetrical animals. Okay, so on the basis of whether the animals can be divided into two equal halves with the similar body parts or not, we have got two types of animal. What are they? Asymmetrical animal and the symmetrical animal. So from the name only, asymmetrical, what I have taught you, A means what? A means no, right? A means what? A means no. So asymmetrical animals, they cannot be divided into two equal half. Okay, whether we are cutting it from any plane, any direction, these animals cannot be divided into two equal half. Whereas symmetrical animal, they can be divided into two equal half. Okay, so let's go through it. What does asymmetrical and symmetrical animal means? First one, we have got asymmetrical animal. Okay, so the body of asymmetrical animals cannot be divided into two equal half in any plane. If you are trying to cut out the sponges, okay, sponges into two equal halves, look over here, this is the sponge, figure number A. Okay, figure number A is the sponge, where we are talking about asymmetrical body form, where the animals cannot be divided into two equal half when we cut it from any plane, from any direction. So when we try to cut these sponges from this particular direction, or cut it from this particular direction, or cut it from this particular direction, the body sponges cannot be divided into two equal half. That's why they are called asymmetrical animal. And what does symmetrical animal means? Symmetrical animal means body which, like, body can be divided into two similar halves. So when we are cutting the body from the main axis, okay, so symmetrical animals will mainly so that the body can be divided into two similar halves with equal body parts. So when we are cutting it from one or more plane, okay. So on the basis of, let's say, on the basis of symmetry, okay, we have got three types of symmetry. One is called spherical symmetry, second one is called radial symmetry, and the third one is called bilaterally symmetrical animal. Okay, even if you look at the figure, over here, you can see the figure number B, which shows spherical symmetry, figure number C over here, which shows radial symmetry, and the figure number D shows bilateral symmetry. Now what does this spherical symmetry means? Okay, so animals exhibiting spherical symmetry have their body part arranged as a sphere. Clear? And in these animals, the sides and the ends of the body are not demarcated. And when we go to the figure number C, which is mainly a radial symmetry, it means that animals have cylindrical body with body parts arranged along the longitudinal axis, and their body can be divided into two equal halves by any number of planes passing through the center from top to the bottom. That means those animals which shows radial symmetry, their body can be divided into two equal halves by cutting from any plane or from any direction from the top to the bottom. Okay, from any plane we are saying that. All right. Okay, and examples are mainly we have got example over here, echinoderms. Okay, then radial symmetry are two types, which is called biradial symmetry, and we have got tetramer symmetry, pentamer symmetry, and hexamer symmetry. No need to go through it. Okay, just remember what this radial symmetry means. So those animals who are radial symmetry, their body can be divided into two equal halves by cutting from any plane or from any direction from top to the bottom. Then D is bilateral symmetry. Bi means two. Okay, so their body can be divided into two halves. Okay, into two halves, that means two equal right and left half. So when we are cutting the animal into two halves, into two parts, so each body part will receive the same number of parts. Each half will receive the same number of body parts, but in this case, in bilateral symmetry, the body can be divided into two equal half by cutting from only one plane. Okay, we have to cut it from only one plane. From only one plane, the body can be divided into two equal half in case of bilateral symmetry. In radial symmetry, if you are cutting it from any plane, any direction, the body was divided into two equal planes. In radial symmetry, if you look over here, let me show you the cutting section or the cutting plan. Okay, so if you look over here, this is the first plane where the animal is being cut. Okay, and this is the second plane from which the animal is being cut, and this is the third plane from which the animal is being cut. So if you cut from any plane, the body can be divided into two equal half in case of radial symmetry. But look over here, in case of bilateral symmetry, when we will cut the animal from this particular plane, from this particular direction, the body will be divided into two equal half. Okay, this is the first half. Okay, this is our first half and this is our second half. So both the half will receive the equal number of body parts. But here in case of bilateral symmetry, remember one more time that the body can be divided into two equal half from only one plane. Okay, so these are the different types of symmetry which we have learned under the symmetrical animals. Now let's go to the next one, diploblastic and triploblastic organization. So before talking about diploblastic and triploblastic organization, remember about the embryonic germ layer. We have got three important germ layer, embryonic germ layer, which will give rise to different tissues, different organs in our body during the course of fetal development. Okay, these are mainly the ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. Okay, that we are going to discuss afterwards in this particular topic. We have got ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. So there are certain animals who will be having only two germ layer. There are certain animals who will be having three germ layer. Okay, so based on the presence of this embryonic germ layer, we are classifying the animals into diploblastic and triploblastic organization. So let us see what the diploblastic organization means. Okay, so in diploblastic organization, okay, the animals where the cells are arranged in two embryonic layer. So that means in diploblastic organizations, we are observing the presence of only two embryonic germ layer. And what are those germ layer? We have got an external means outer, ectoderm, okay, and we have got the internal means inside, which is called the endoderm. The word ecto, E-C-T-O, ecto means outside, E-N-D-O, indo means inside. So in diploblastic organization, the animal which exhibit diploblastic organization, they have got two embryonic germ layer, ectoderm and the endoderm. Okay. Now, the two layer, ectoderm and the endoderm, they will remain separated by a layer called mesoglia. Okay, this layer, mesoglia, will separate the ectoderm and the endoderm. Let us look at the diagram. Okay, so if you look over here, this figure number A is the diploblastic organization. Okay, don't look at the figure number B. Figure number B is triploblastic, so we are going to focus on figure number A. So we have just learned that in diploblastic organization there are only two layers which are present. So we have got the outer layer here, which is called the ectoderm. Okay, and we have got this inner layer which is called the endoderm. So this outer layer, all the outer layer of the cells, they are called the ectoderm, and this inner layer of the cells, they are called the endoderm. Okay, and the ectoderm and the endoderm, they are separated by a layer. This particular layer is over here. Okay, over here, and this particular layer is called the mesoglia. So mesoglia will mainly separate the ectoderm and the endoderm. So presence of two embryonic germ layer will make the organisms diploblastic in nature. Now let's go to triploblastic organization. Triplo means what? Tri means three. Okay, so those animals who have triploblastic, they have got three embryonic germ layer: the inner ectoderm, the outer ectoderm, the inner endoderm, and the middle we have got the mesoderm. Meso means middle, ecto means outside, endo means inside, and meso means middle. Okay, so let's look at the diagram. So this particular triploblastic animals are mainly been seen from the phylum Platyhelminthes to the chordate. So we are triploblastic. We have got three embryonic germ layer: ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. So if you look at the diagram, this figure number A is diploblastic. Okay, we have already discussed this thing. Let's move to figure number B. So this outer layer is the ectoderm. Okay, this innermost layer is the endoderm. Now in between the endoderm, this layer and this layer, ecto and endo, we have got the middle layer. Okay, we have got the middle layer. This middle layer is known as the mesoderm. So we have got the third layer in case of triploblastic organization between the ectoderm and the endoderm. So presence of two layers, ectoderm and the endoderm, which are separated by the mesoderm, are diploblastic. And those animals where you have got three embryonic germ layer, outer ectoderm, inner mesoderm, and the middle, inner is our endoderm and the middle mesoderm, those animals will be our triploblastic animals. Okay, so today we have learned about level of organization. Okay, we have learned about the second basis of classification, which is called the body plan. We have learned the third basis of classification, which is called the body symmetry, and we have learned about the fourth one, which is called the diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Okay, so this was the today's class. In the next class, we will begin with the other basis of classifications. We learn about the body xylem or the body cavity. Okay, we learn about the segmentation part. We learn about the notochord, respiratory system. Okay, and we'll talk about the like a body temperature. So remaining topics under the basis of classifications, we will cover it in our next class. So kindly go through this particular topic that we have covered today. Okay, go through the textbook, and if there will be any doubt, any confusions, we will have a doubt clearing sessions in our Teach Mint live class. All right, so this was today's class. See you in next class. Thank you.